meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Hamilton Gazette, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, Stillwater Building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing.
Bow your heads. Dear God, as we come before you today for this commissioner meeting, we thank you for the opportunity to serve and make decisions that impact our community. Grant us wisdom and discernment as we discuss important matters. Help us listen to one another with open hearts and minds, seeking the best outcomes for all we represent. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand for the flag salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Dallas.
Present.
Bertino.
Here.
Burns. Here. Corsi.
Present.
Days.
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Parker.
Present.
Grizzly.
Here.
Kern.
Here. Let's see. Commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from February 20th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the February 24 minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Dallas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns. Yes. Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, anyone attending in person who would like to speak regarding an agenda item or a public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and the town where you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. If you're attending virtually and would like to speak, please raise your hand during the agenda item or a public comment at the end. I will call upon your name and a request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. Okay, that brings us to Resolution 112.
Appointment of Frank D. Formica to the Atlantic County Utilities Authority to fill an unexpired term to expire on May 1st, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any comments from our commissioners?
I think maybe Mr. Formica wants to.
Mr. Formica, would you like to come up?
Ask him some questions? Yes.
Thank you. Well, I provided, I think, everybody with a little bit of my resume. I would like to say that I would really like to be part of the ACUA and part of this great county government again. So I was asked by the municipal chair, Nick Larotondo, to take this position, and I am happy to be here and answer any questions.
Questions from our commissioners?
Madam Chair, if I may. So, Mr. Formica, with all due respect, you're no strangers to the county government. So I want the record to reflect that. I'll probably be the only one to say it. I know there's been some hogwash, some conversations about you being appointed to the ACUA. I think it's an outstanding choice. I think you serve the residents of Atlantic County very well. Your experience as Commissioner Freeholder and Chairman of this board speaks volumes, and just in the community as a whole. And so I know I've gotten phone calls and wanted to know why we were appointing you to the board. I think it's the right person at the right time for the right position, and that I think you would do the residents of Atlantic County very well. I don't need to blow no smoke up your behind because, again, you've been in this community, you know what's going on. You hear the concerns.
Absolutely.
Whether they're good or bad, and you talk about communities with the smells and et cetera. We need a voice on it that will continue to speak up and listen to what residents have to say. The last couple of times there's been some issues and concerns regarding Hickover Township, Absecon, Galloway. We've had the ACUA Executive Director here at the last meeting, talked about a few things. And so, you know, I make no qualms about it. I guess some people wondered who was going to support you, who was going to sponsor. I'm supporting it. It's the right thing to do. And so for the record, for some of those who did call, whether they were Democrats or Republicans, we have to understand we can either vote resolutions up or down. It's the county executives at his discretion who you like to point to boards. And so, again, I know there's a lot of talk out there in the community all weekend. I'm sure some of y'all's phones have blown up. I don't believe you in the western part of the county. I know you hear everything. But again, congratulations.
Thank you, I'm humbled by that, and just anxious to serve.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam
Any
Chair?
other commissioners?
Yeah,
Mr. Bell.
if I could. Yeah, so I've been on the commission board for quite some time now. Not as long as you were, but
And nobody as long as John Brisbane. He holds the record across the state, by the way.
he was here before the building was here.
That's a fair statement.
He predates Benny.
So anyway, getting to my point, with as many appointments that we have agreed to on this board, never have I got a phone call from the applicant seeking support. And the other day my phone rings and it's Mr. Formica on the phone and told me that, you know, he was in line, in running to get this position, and I was shocked. And the only question I asked him is he going to be a yes man for the executive director? Not that I have a problem with the executive director, but a lot of times, you know, the people on that board, just whatever, you know, administration wants there, they just go along with it. And his answer was absolutely not, and that's all I needed to hear.
I've been a yes man for the people, way ahead of party,
Exactly.
way ahead of anything.
That's
The whole
exactly
time.
what I needed to hear, and he has my 100% support.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rizzo.
Madam Chair, I certainly would like to echo everything that's been stated. Frank, you make a great member, you're very thorough, and that's what we need as board members. We need people who are going to listen, take it all in, do the research, ask the tough questions, and then ask the follow-up to the follow-up question, which is so important. So I have no doubt that you're going to do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Bertino.
Yes, thank you. Frank, I think you've, with the background experience you've had and listening to issues from the ACUA through the years, there's changes that are occurring now. We're coming into the twilight of the landfill. There's going to be opportunities, and there's going to take some vision from people to maybe look at things in a little different way. One of the things I do know about you is that you aren't afraid to take the different approach than everybody else is, at least doing the research to find out if it's feasible. And I feel comfortable about you going there because I think you're going to be that kind of a leader there and a commissioner there. We got a lot happening, and the way we handle trash has been changing daily. There's going to be opportunities. Some states, if you research, and ACUA has done some of the research, because I've seen some of the stuff they've looked at, where there's partnerships with public-private out in the West, where businesses are involved with doing some of the material that they could utilize out of the landfill, taking it out of the stream. It isn't just that we want to be putting it on the truck, trucking it out of here and going to a landfill. That's not the way trash and recycling should be done as this, in this time and age. And it's changing dramatically by technology. So I know you'll be a guy who's unafraid to buck the stream if that's what's needed, and ask the questions necessary and challenge the staff if it's something that needs to be done. I feel pretty comfortable with you, knowing you that well. I know you'll do that, so I'll be supporting you. But you need a guy there that's not afraid to ask questions.
I hope to live up. I will live up to all that. But
If not, I'll call you.
on this board, there's nobody more knowledgeable about trash than Jimmy Bertino.
Yeah.
So you're going to be expecting a lot of calls.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sure.
Commissioner Days.
Frank, as Commissioner Val said, I appreciate the phone call about the appointment. I know there were others that were interested in this position, but you're here today, and so it's not just, Absecon and, conversation, it's Galloway Township and it's Egg Harbor Township, and when there's hundreds of new homes come online in Egg Harbor Township, there's gonna be 100 more phone calls that we're all gonna be receiving, and you included. So I hope, as Commissioner Bertino said, that you are a bulldog and you think outside of the box, because there are several issues that the ACO is facing currently. And like I said, we're all going to continue to receive phone calls, which means you're going to receive phone calls.
Send it to you.
Give everybody my number.
I'm gonna send it to you.
And as far as my phone calls to everybody, I felt it was a matter of respect. Not one time did somebody call me when I was up there. I got appointed, and you, people that have been here, commissioners that have been here know, we appoint people we want to ask a question to, they never even show up at the meeting. That shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, but I'm not here to argue policy. Just wanted to say I wanted to give everybody a call out of respect.
I appreciate that. I give you credit for that. And I hope the others that have applied for this position continue to stay involved as well, because, again, sometimes too many cooks in the kitchen is a bad thing, but I think some of the issues the ACOA is facing, I think the more heads we have that come together on this, the better. So, thank you.
Thank you.
That's a very good point, Commissioner. Like the ones that were requesting it as well, we would like them to stay involved. And we do need people out there advocating for the residents. As you said, there's a lot of things going on with ACUA, not just the snow. The snow's very big right now with the residents, and you now being a resident of Absecon.
Yes.
So we very much appreciate your interest and willingness to serve the residents of Atlantic County.
Thank
Anybody else have any comments?
Add a comment. I don't know how we could not support our former colleague and friend. I mean, qualified is not even the word, and I just see it as an extension of us, frankly, because you know this perspective, and that's exactly what we need there, kind of on a very regular basis. So I'm excited. I don't think there's really a better choice that could have been made.
That's very humbling. Thank you very much.
Well, I can't be the only one that doesn't say anything.
I have not spoken for the record.
Okay. How did I not know? Thank you very much for the respect and calling me in as the new commissioner. Of course, I made some phone calls to the commissioners, and I have heard 100% support of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not an easy job right now, never an easy job, but right now you're jumping right into it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
It would seem from all the comments that I'm the commissioner that Commissioner Corsi was speaking about that received all the clandestine phone calls.
Hey, clandestine?
I'm done now. Let's go.
So Madam Chair, before we do that,
Yes.
I was sitting here calculating. He was the chairman of the Freeholder Board, he was a freeholder, he was shared services director, and he's going to AC. What else you coming back with?
What's that?
I'm just naming all the things.
That's
You've come
good
before the
enough.
board
That's
for a
good.
vote. Okay.
Just a bread baker.
That's all I am. There's no initials after my name.
Just a bread maker.
Well, and then you also noticed in some of the information you gave us, your first experience with waste management was as a United States Air Force cadet, where you trained in water and waste management treatment.
That is true.
That meant he had to take the trash.
I'll just say this real quick. I know this is serious stuff, but I go into the Air Force because I was drafted into Vietnam with a very little number. You had 10 days to join another service. I get to a recruiter who shows me the career fields. I see something that's brand new and bright in that time, in the early 70s. Engineer Environmental Support Specialist. I'm so excited to go to tech school. I get to tech school at Shepherd Air Force Base, and my instructor, who was a civilian, I said, "What is Engineer Environmental Support Specialist?" He said, "What are you talking about? Let me see your MOS." I said, "Son, you're a turd herder."
Oh, boy.
You're in water and waste treatment. I got to the BX to get to the phone to call my recruiter and tell him I was going to kill him.
Do you have anything from the public? Nothing from the public? Mr. Formica, do you have any other words you want to say?
No, thank you for letting me be here.
Okay, we will have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you
And
again.
that is better than SCOTUS.
Congratulations.
Okay, now that brings us into our bond ordinances with bond ordinance 1 for the first reading.
Bond ordinance providing for various 2024 capital improvements and the acquisition of various capital equipment by and in the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, appropriating $30,644,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $29,111,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof, first reading.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Commissioner.
If I may, there's a number of budget related ordinances and resolutions that are coming forward here, and I just want to first say thanks to our finance staff and administrative staff. Always do a fantastic job, not only putting everything together, but taking us all through it and helping answer our questions and helping us to understand. So I just want to say that on behalf of the Budget and Finance Committee. I know the rest of the commissioners met with the team also and went through everything in depth. With regard to these couple of items up front, I just wonder if it would be of value to have maybe Bonnie just highlight just a couple of things. It's first reading, that way the public is aware for the public hearing at the following meeting.
Okay, does Bonnie have a mic?
Or Jerry, whoever you want to do it, Jerry. I didn't mean to step over you. Okay.
I left my cheat sheet summary in the
Okay.
office, but the first, do you want me to just do the bond ordinance?
Just a
or you want-
couple highlights of
Okay.
bond ordinance, yeah.
Yeah, the bond ordinance is an appropriation of $30,644,000, of which, and I did try to make some notes while, just in case. Of which $16,410,000 is going to be used for facilities improvements, and $14,234,000 is for bridge, road, intersection, and drainage improvements.
And we have the details available if people want to know what the specific projects are.
Right, the individual projects that we plan on including in these are listed in the ordinance.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Seeing none, anything from the floor, roll call. Okay, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey. Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that brings us into the capital ordinances with capital ordinance 1.
Capital ordinance providing for various capital improvements, equipment, and furnishings in and for the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, and appropriating $4,556,918 from the Capital Improvement Fund and/or the Capital Surplus Fund to pay for the cost thereof, first reading.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? First reading, sorry. Okay, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Capital ordinance 2.
Capital ordinance providing for various technology infrastructure improvements at Atlantic Cape Community College in and for the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, and appropriating $347,270.05 from the Capital Improvement Fund and/or the Capital Surplus Fund to pay for the cost thereof, first reading.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us into our resolutions for budget, Resolution 84.
Introduction of the 2024 Atlantic County budget, first reading.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 85, please.
Atlantic County Public Health Agency Annual Budget Notice 2024, first reading.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing and hearing none, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 86, please.
Atlantic County Library Annual Budget Notice 2024, first reading.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing and hearing none, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carried. Resolution 87.
Calendar year 2024 resolution authorizing county entity to exceed the county entity budget request cap, Public Law 2015, Chapter 249.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, just again to highlight, these are all standard operating procedure as part of our kind of budget process.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, seeing and hearing none, I'll roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 88.
Resolution to exceed the county budget appropriation limits to, and to establish a 2024 cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45.14, first reading.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bowles, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing and hearing none, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 89.
Resolution adopting the tax levy cap to be applied to the 2024 county budget.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Ballas. Any commissioner comments? Okay, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey? Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 90, please.
Temporary fiscal year 2024 capital budget.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Coursey, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey? Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 91.
Annual Open Space Trust Fund Tax 2024, first reading.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair?
Yeah, Commissioner.
Yeah, just, I'm going to vote yes for this, but I spoke many times last year with the administrator, Terry, reference to the county purchasing the historic bowling cemetery in Galloway Township. It's a cemetery where black soldiers were buried. It was owned by a church. The county does take care of it, although there is a lot of disrepair that's out there too, the railings and stuff like that. I couldn't see a better use of open space funding to make sure that continues to be maintained and improvements on it, especially, I know the county executive had the county put a sign out there which we're all aware of, and the history of that, which is some great history, and I think it'll be a national landmark eventually. But I think that, that would be money well spent if the county is able to get this done.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, we have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us into our grants with resolution 92.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of State Division of Elections for the 2023 general election early voting grant, amount not to exceed $147,148.47.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Coursey, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing and hearing none. Anything from the public? Oh,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good to be seen. Creed Pogue, Estelle Manor. I'm a member of the County Board of Elections, but I am not speaking directly on their behalf. Today, we didn't have a chance to discuss that ahead of time, but just wanted to be appreciative for both 92 and 93, so I won't do this twice. But also, as you introduced the budget, as administration works on the budget, in addition to the truisms that obviously democracy is not free. And so there's an expense with elections, but also the state winds up reimbursing the county for much of that expense. And so when you see the numbers in the budget, in part because, Jerry, right, that not all of those things are known of what exactly is going to be reimbursed, so that's not all included as an offset in the budget, even though it comes later, which is why it's in here later. And so just to look that up for your information, and again, to thank you for your support. And I know this isn't great news. I know we'll be having other requests because, again, we are in an election season through the year. It's not just, okay, here's 2 election days and we're all done. It hasn't been like that truly for a long time. So, again, thank you, Madam Chair and the board and administration for their support and help.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to resolution 93, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of State Division of Elections for the 2023 primary and general election day grant, amount not to exceed $27,995.08.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now we have a resolution number 94, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development for the Summer Youth Employment Program, amount not to exceed $975,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to our professional service agreements with resolution 93. 95.
Professional services agreement with various vendors to provide temporary nursing staffing for Meadowview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center and the Division of Public Health, amount not to exceed $1 million.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Gatto.
Jared, do you want to highlight the analysis we're going to do with Meadowview? We do not want to talk about that.
Well, it's on the resolution. I mean, he's gonna, do you wanna do it now? We have to,
Yeah, we can.
okay,
Sure.
okay,
All right.
fine, okay.
We can wait then. Sorry.
Any other commissioner comments? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. We're into our competitive contract with resolution 96.
Resolution authorizing competitive contracting for the solicitation of proposals for security at at the Central Municipal Court pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-4.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Bush
One
Valley.
question, thank you. Jerry, in this competitive contract that will go out, will the sheriff's office be able to bid on that also, or no?
I believe they can bid on it if they want to. I mean, I don't think there's anything that prohibits that. I mean, we've done that in our Office on Aging. We go out and other units within that, department can bid and have bid on projects, so yes.
Okay.
Unless the county council tells me, yeah.
Oh, they can, in my opinion. Okay.
Any other comments from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 97, please.
Resolution authorizing competitive contracting for the solicitation of proposals for catering services in Atlantic County facilities on an as-needed basis pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-4.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 98.
Amending Resolution Number 252 adopted on May 16, 2023, a renewal agreement with Jewish Family Services for the provision of heads case management to utilize unspent funding and to extend the term date, no additional cost.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Ballas. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Bring to our bid contract with Resolution 99.
Bid contract with Electric Tech Incorporated for Phase 3 light fixture replacement at the Atlantic County Justice Facility, amount not to exceed $191,725.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 100.
Bid contract with Neary's Construction and Rentals Incorporated to provide Canal Pump Station and Force Main improvements, amount not to exceed $215,426.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Corsi. Any commissioner comments? Seeing hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 101.
Bid contract with Velasco Mechanical Incorporated for HVAC upgrades and natural gas generator for the Mays Landing Library, amount not to exceed $2,683,600.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 102.
Bid contract with Mavilla Foods to furnish and deliver non-perishable foods, amount not to exceed $199,209.43.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns? Coursey? Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 103, please.
Bid contract with various vendors for the provision of inmate uniforms and supplies for the Atlantic County Justice Facility, amount not to exceed $229,001.10.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing hearing none, anything from public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Then we're into our change orders with Resolution 104.
Change order number 1, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for on-call maintenance resurfacing of various roads to extend the term date, net increase $525.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Days. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none. Well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey? Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 105.
Change order number 1, a contract with J. Fletcher Creamer and Son Incorporated for on-call maintenance beam guide rail repair at various locations to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Do we have a roll call?
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 106.
Lease agreement with Jamal's Atlantic City Limited Liability Company and Management Company Joyce Parking Limited Liability Company to lease 375 parking spaces at the New York Avenue Parking Garage in Atlantic City. Amount not to exceed $214,524.84.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Commissioner Ballas?
Thank you.
Terry, is there any plans in the future of acquiring any property in Atlantic City and building our own parking lot, or that's still off the table?
We're looking to move out of Atlantic City.
Yeah,
I mean, we did price out where our parking lot is, and, you know, it's very expensive. Back when we did this, it has to be like 10 years ago, we had a, engineer design, or actually do a cost estimate and design several different structures for us. They were averaging anywhere between 18,000 and 20,000 in parking space. I mean, really, we've been looking to move out of Atlantic City, quite truthfully. We looked at doing several things with our building. If you remember, there was several years back, if you put money into the building, I forget the tax exposure that you had. If you put money into a building, you would get that break in taxes. So you put $13 million into a building, you get a $13 million tax. We actually looked at locations then to move out of the building, and we had several different individuals look at our building. They didn't think it was worth putting the money into the building. They didn't think for what they were looking to do with the building. You know, I think we're going to put in apartments and things like that. So again, we have looked at, you know, it's called B&B parking. We purchased that, you know, because the sheriff actually does the security at the civil courthouse. We purchased the parking spaces from the individual, and they're asking us to look to expand that a little bit in the courts because of the number of jurors. They're going to reintroduce jurors in person. They have it now, but they're going to expand that. They would do that every week now. So the direct answer was no. We haven't looked at any more properties since, you know, we did the original study.
So I guess it's cheaper for a private industry to acquire the property, build the parking lot, and then lease to the county than it is for a county to build it and own it.
Well, we did. We went to the city to buy a piece of property that was presently or on. We were told that at the time the mayor was looking to put housing. This is prior to any existing. So they wouldn't sell us the property. We looked at their property on North Carolina Avenue. They wouldn't sell us the property. So I'm just telling you, there were a number of places we looked to buy. The New York Avenue lot, we were asked to buy that. Structurally, we're not sure. You know, we wanted to go out on a limb to buy that. And by the way, there is a. I was inactive for a period of time. You know, back when I was in the division director for aging and disabled. I was asked to go down there for 4 months and run active while that's the South Jersey Transportation Authority, while they were doing, you know, interviews for a new director. And at that time, they were trying to sell the property, couldn't sell it. And you know, the location is not the best in the world. And look, my office overlooks that particular structure. I don't think I've ever seen cars on the top floor. It's just not a good location. So I'm not sure that's the best thing for us. And people are afraid to go down that area. I'm going to be quite honest with you. So I mean, we've looked. We've done a number of different things. There's nothing that caught our eye, nothing that we want to spend our money on. And we are presently renting the spaces for the civil courthouse, and we rent these spaces for county employees. But we have looked to move.
Right. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, people don't want to go to that area,
Right.
and you know, some say it's not safe, but that's where we're putting our employees and prospective jurors,
Right.
the general
Right.
public.
Right.
Which
Right.
I agree with you. I don't know that that's the
Right.
best opportunity
Right.
for us, and we're paying to do that.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any
So,
other?
Madam Chair, if I may, to my colleague, what's the alternative at this point?
I don't know if there is.
And you made a statement, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but what's the alternative?
Well, I was hoping there was. I know there's a lot of vacant lots in and around in Atlantic City.
Where?
Uh,
Identify them for me.
top man,
I'd be more than happy to have to sell
Where
to
the
county.
where the courts parking lot is now was a vacant lot, and a private company bought that, and the county leases from them. We missed that opportunity.
We did, but I'm actually telling you, I'm referring to the New York Avenue site at this point. And you're right, there's a whole lot of issues on that street. But what is the public alternative? We really don't have anything to do, right?
But we don't talk about it, we don't know.
Oh, it's been, oh, I disagree with you. There's been much talk about it.
Agreed.
You happen to have been in Mays Land and the sheriff's office, so you couldn't have the opportunity to talk about what happens in Atlantic City. But we make sure the sheriff's department get plenty of parking spaces, right? At the end of the day, I agree that we're sending jurors and employees over to the New York Avenue garage. I will tell you that it has cleaned up somewhat. A lot needs to be done. And on that note, within the next 2 to 3 months, once they finish the academy, you'll see a big difference of police presence between Pacific and Atlantic Avenue, because we're putting 20 new cops up, and that is part of their new location. We do realize that anywhere on New York Avenue from Pacific to Artie is not a pleasant sight, right? And the Renaissance Plaza doesn't help either. So there's some issues, we've got some challenges, but there's no other place at this point. At least we go in an eminent domain. I don't support eminent domain no matter who's doing it, but the fact is that what would be the alternative? I know that the city of Atlantic City itself, directly across from City Hall, next to the Carolina Avenue Apartments, with city employees, we're running out of space, so what do we do, all right? Do we build a garage? May not be a bad idea. It may not be. Like, we have lots there, but we right now share parking spaces with Gateway in the city of Atlantic City between Tennessee and IS Coast Plaza, that parking lot there, right in front of Second Baptist Church. So we don't really have a lot of parking space down there. If the county wants to come in and talk about the shared service agreement and use some of the county binding, maybe the city may want to build a garage on the city parking lot. There's a partnership. That's always an option. But right now, sending them down to the New York Avenue garage, unfortunately, the county didn't buy it. It was up for sale. I don't think it got sold for that much. It's just a bad area.
Madam Chair.
I just want to make sure, though, Commissioner, that you said we lost the opportunity. They would not sell it to us. We were there before the person who bought the property. We were told they would not sell it to us because they were going to build housing there. And then they sold it that person. So I'm just saying.
It was not the small administration either.
Well, I shouldn't say we lost it, we missed it. But
Jerry said only 3 years ago.
He said it.
I agree with you, Commissioner Corsi, but as you know, right next to the courthouse, between the courthouse and the county office building, there's that parking lot that's owned by the Fox Rothschild, I believe it is. And again, if there could be, who knows, in my fantasy land, you know, maybe the city and the county can go together, purchase that along with Fox Rothschild, build a parking garage there, and then it serves them, serves us, serves the city, and everybody's happy. But if you never say anything, maybe nothing gets done. So just a suggestion. It's our best worst option, but you know, I'm just voicing the concerns of food and of jurors that I've heard from before. So that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other Commissioner comments? Anything from the public? We'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Patino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 107.
Shared services agreement with the City of Atlantic City for pothole repairs on various county roads and participating municipalities, amount not to exceed $37,500.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any Commissioner comments?
I have a question. When it says participating municipalities, are we projecting to have more municipalities participate, or we already have that?
There is a bill.
Well, you have Mr. Kreischer is here. He's the one who negotiated the, he'll explain.
Yeah, the entities that are involved in the shared service agreement that Atlantic City was a lead agency, and they received, I think, $400,000 in LEAP funding, included Atlantic County, let me back up, include Pleasantville, Egg Harbor City, and the city of Margate. Excuse me. So this was part of the $400,000 that Atlantic City received, part of the LEAP grant to buy this piece of equipment. The entities involved are the city of Margate, Egg Harbor City, and Pleasantville, and then the county roads within those jurisdictions.
Okay, and just for the record, if you can just give your name and...
I'm sorry, Tim Kreischer, Atlantic County Shared Services Coordinator. And I do, while I'm here, take the time to thank the city of Atlantic City because there's a lot of negotiation went back and forth on what county roads were going to be included in this. And Atlantic City was very cooperative in extending the roads that they would do for the county to Egg Harbor City and Pleasantville. So thanks to the city of Atlantic City.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
that. No, I just want to thank Tim for that. I wanted that to go.
And the other question was raised in the director's meeting today. When will the actual truck get here? I know they keep saying it's en route. Did it ever get here yet? I was told today that it's probably going to be about 8 months. So I don't know if that's supply chain issues or what the issues. I know Lane City advertised for bids and received them, but I did inquire to that today and it was told it's going to be about 8 months. I anticipated that question coming up today.
Madam Chair? Yeah, if I may, Tim, how is this going to work? So the vehicle is being purchased by Atlantic City. If Egg Harbor Township needs it, or Ventnor, or the other participating municipalities, do they come pick it up? Or
No.
does a driver from Atlantic City take it outside of Atlantic City to fill the pothole in their town?
Okay, Egg Harbor Township's not a part of this.
Egg Harbor City, Egg Harbor City, that's
So-
further away.
Atlantic City, in order to make this attractive and save money for everybody involved and for them to qualify for the $400,000 grant, the equipment, last time I looked on the state contract, was $560,000. So it's basically costing them $160,000. They would call, the participating entities would call Atlantic City. They would send their driver to the area so that they didn't have everybody using this piece of expensive equipment. And then Atlantic City would then bill the municipality, I think it's $45 an hour for the time that they performed the pothole repair. They did not charge for the use of the equipment. Again, to make sure that we had enough towns participating in order to make the grant application look attractive to the state. So municipalities will pay for the labor, which is the hourly rate plus benefits, to the city of Atlantic City for the time that that operator is repairing potholes in those entities. And there's a building, I think, an increase of 3% a year.
Plus, I assume the material, right?
And the cost of the material. And again, this is a very sophisticated piece of equipment. It's operated by one person. The person never gets out of the truck. It's all done hydraulically, so you don't have to listen. Why does it take 3 people to fix a pothole? It's one person that repairs the pothole in about 5 minutes, so you can do a lot of potholes in an 8-hour day. And if Atlantic City build the municipality, that's $360. And you can participate, fix a lot of potholes in the municipality.
How many municipalities have joined?
It's Egg Harbor City, Margate, Pleasantville, and the county of Atlantic. This was offered to everybody, but not, I take that back, not everybody, because Atlantic City wouldn't be feasible for Atlantic City to be sending this truck out to the far end of the county. So we try to limit it to the areas nearby.
Thank you.
The best part of that is it's a hot patch too.
Yes,
It's not a cold patch, as they pop out all the time. This is
there's a hopper on it that will keep it.
We have rented it from the company. It's amazing. It's amazing what it does. It does a great job.
Thank you. Any other comments from our commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to resolution 108.
Agreement with Zimmett Healthcare Services Group, Limited Liability Company to conduct a fiscal and programmatic review of Meadowview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in an effort to increase revenue, amount not to exceed $10,000.
Move.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Yeah, absolutely. Jerry?
So, Mr. Zemmet was asked to give me a call. I think you remember that we had the conversation about Meadowview, and then the board had asked us to see if we can do an analysis to determine whether or not there are other ways we could increase the revenue. So this Mr. Zemmet, he called me and said, I'll give you the $30,000 or the 30,000 feet view. So he did that. So he went through things like our Medicare, our Medicaid funding, our private funding, and then it's this piece of software that he has access to. For example, he said he probably has half of the state's nursing homes that he's a consultant for. So he showed us this software, and it goes through all your programs, your medical rehab, you name it, pharmacy, all the things that you vote on, your medical, every one of them. And he can open them and then show the comparison with other nursing homes. There are not too many publics left. I think there's only like 3 or 4 of us left in the state. There used to be 18 public nursing homes, there's only 3 or 4 left. And then privates. So he's able to show you where you fit in on any of those particular items. So one of the areas, food. So he showed us that our food costs are extremely high. When I mentioned that to Ms. Conover and Diane at the time, who was at one time, our purchasing agent, they all said, how we get such good prices. But there are some things that they're doing in the food service that one person was allowing to happen, which was raising the cost. Not a bad thing, just not a good thing in terms of cost. So that was one of the things. So he was able to mention a few of these things. We went back, we looked at them. So we went back to him and said, look, if we actually asked you to, he did that for nothing. He called and said, I really like to do these things for public entities. He really believes the public entities do a very good job. And he did say I guess he's kind of very unhappy that the public sector has gotten out of this business, and it's very expensive, as you all know. So what he did was he started with Medicare, showed us where we are with Medicare and what everybody else is getting. I mean, he says you can get anywhere between $0 and $100 more doing certain things. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to come in, look at how we're billing, look at how we're funding, we're applying for Medicare, the type of cases that we have, and then he'll give us some recommendations. He'll look at all those items, food, medical, rehabs, all of those items, how we bill for them, and how we're charging for them, and the types of cases that we have. So he's going to go through that full gamut with us and then make the recommendation. So that's...
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's something that's well worth it, that he's coming in here already seeing some things that he's highlighting. So, Commissioner Kennedy, do you have anything more to say?
No, I think we were very excited about it in the budget subcommittee. And, I think, we all want to work toward a goal of trying to get more of the beds filled. And there's a combination of, facility staffing needs and just getting that unit cost to operate down. And this will help with one side of that equation.
Now we've got good services, so just
Right.
looking at areas. That's great. Any other, Commissioner Ballas?
Yeah, Jerry, as long as the out-of-pocket cost to the client or resident, as you would call them, is not going up. I mean, these are people that are their worst time of their life, having to go into a nursing home, and I think it's our responsibility, just like taking care of our children, we got to take care of our elderly.
Any other commissioner comments? Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Alice?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 109, please.
Alternate method contract with Atlantic Coast Moving and Storage for the transportation of voting equipment for the primary and general elections, early voting, and election day, amount not to exceed $82,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any comments from our commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Patino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 110.
Alternate method contract with U.S. Corrections to provide prisoner transport and extradition services for Atlantic County, amount not to exceed $150,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 111.
Emergency contract with Command Company Incorporated to repair a second sinkhole at the Galloway Library, amount not to exceed $194,377.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, if I can just, I just want to commend Chris. I mean, he's doing such a good job, him and his staff, to address these and really try to get to the root of the issue so that we don't have them happen again. And rather quickly, he's addressing them. So just kudos to him and his team.
Any other commissioner comments? Seeing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now we are into resolution 113.
Reappointment of Howard Birchfield Jr., Daniel Adams, Russell Fenton, Eugene Sharp, Chris Tilley, Joseph Ward, C. Robert Winkler, and Gilbert Zong to the Atlantic County Fire Training Advisory Board for a term to expire on March 1st, 2025.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. It is, okay, seconded by Commissioner Days. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I would just like to thank these members that we are reappointing. You know, not only are they on this advisory board, but they're also all volunteer firefighters. They're all volunteer trainers at the Fire Academy. They give a large part of their life to the community, and I just, think that we should thank them for that.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. They're very dedicated. Many of them have been doing it for many years, good jobs, of their obligations in their lives, and they truly are dedicated to the residents, of Atlantic County. Any other comments? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions number 114 to 116, roadway solicitation. Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey? Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 117.
Resolution urging the Atlantic City Housing Authority to provide living conditions with basic necessities for tenants of the Stanley Homes Village, sponsor Ernest D. Corsi.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Mr. Corsi.
Madam Chair, if I may introduce you to our solicitor, I think I need to ask, can we make a correction in the beginning? It needs to go to, it needs to be addressed to HUD, which is the federal office. It's not Camden, it's not North. It's the federal office. And so what I'm attempting to do here is that y'all have read the story about Stanley Homes Village, and it's not just Stanley Homes, it's Jeffrey Towers, it's Edmund Towers. Most of the housing authority projects, properties are having some issues. And so what's happening is over the years, it's continued to deteriorate, right? And so I've said this many times up here, Atlantic City itself, through the small administration, have done everything the city could do in terms of trying to assist residents in public housing in Atlantic City as well as the housing authority, but it's not our jurisdiction. When you hear Atlantic City Housing Authority, Atlantic City Water Company, Atlantic City, so they think everything's connected to Atlantic City. And it's not. And it's because it's controlled by the feds. They have to say so. So we went in, when I say we, the city of Atlantic City, because we read in the paper, We went in with our inspectors for code enforcement, license and inspections. We went in with public works. We picked up trash for them, the whole 9 yards, because they didn't have the capacity to spend money to hire contractors, let alone hire employees. So over the last 2 years, so probably will be beyond that, you notice the issue with no hot water, no heat, busted pipes. And the issue just goes on and on and on. And yet the city, under the small administration, had offered the housing authority a piece of property in Atlantic City. And there was talk about tearing down Stanley Home Village. And we offered them a piece of property, New Jersey Avenue, between New Jersey and Connecticut Avenue, to build what they would call Stanley 2, which would be temporary housing. So you can either tear down Stanley, build new housing, and then those folks would move back. That didn't happen. Housing Authority never moved to do it. Since then, things have continued to deteriorate, and nobody, I don't give a rat's tail who you are, should have to live like that. And y'all have always got to call it, y'all made comments on various places, because we all here. We may not live in public housing, but they're our constituents, whether they're in Atlantic City, whether you're a commissioner at large, they're our constituents, right? But more importantly, they're human beings. And HUD has to step it up. You can't just point to the Atlantic City Housing Authority. Yes, the city of Atlantic City does appoint members, so does the governor of the state of New Jersey. But if the federal government is not doing their part, it's easy to point the finger. But at the end of the day, the folks are still living in the same damn conditions, no matter who's responsible for it, right? And so what I'm attempting to do, and asking my colleagues to join me, is to continue to put pressure on the federal government, on HUD itself. There was a meeting in Atlantic City until last week, or a conference call with HUD. What's the outcome? You're moving people out of public housing, you're putting them into a hotel, some of them come back, and then last winter, there was some that conditions were so bad, they didn't want to leave their property. They did not want to leave their apartments, right? So they stayed. We've offered transportation, we have offered security. They didn't want to leave. And if you looked at some of those apartments, you couldn't believe a dog shouldn't have lived in some of those conditions that was there. And some probably still exist. Sure. And so what happens now is that because HUD have allowed the Housing Authority now to bring in contractors and to hire employees to begin to fix some of the issues. It's a lot of fixing. I'm not sure they all get to it. I got a call a couple days ago. The gentleman said he has nothing but mold in the ceiling over top of the shower. Who should live like that? All right? And again, none of us, no matter who we are, should ever think that anybody should live like that. Like I said, a dog, a cat, nobody should have to live in those conditions. Because you can almost rest assured, folks who work for HUD don't live in those kind of conditions. They probably don't even live in public housing. And there's nothing wrong with living in public housing. But you have to treat those people with dignity and respect. I often quote this scripture in the Bible of Matthew. It says, what you've done to the least of them, you've done to me. When I was hungry, you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. And when I was naked, you clothed me. And so when these people live in these conditions, we as elected officials, we've got to step up too. We've got to put the pressure on whoever it is that we have to put the pressure on. And it's not that we're sitting on the sideline not saying nothing. But for some apparent reason, I would challenge the Commissioner of HUD to come to Atlantic City and see firsthand these conditions. And yes, they've been invited, have not gotten here yet. And so what we do today is again, I'm asking my colleague, showing support to the residents of public housing in Atlantic City, and basically saying to the Board of Commissioners of the Atlantic City Housing Authority, we're with you. We're standing with you, arguing and asking HUD officials to come and see what's happening firsthand. Not just only come for lip service, but to send the dollars to clean this foolishness and this mess up. And if that location is not going to work, let's find new locations to begin the process of building affordable housing where folks can live and have dignity. Folks work every day and have to live in those kind of conditions. You pay your rent, your sink is full, your stove don't work, your refrigerator works when it wants to. not acceptable. So everybody doesn't have the luxury of living either in a single-family home or living somewhere where they don't have to deal with those conditions. So I ask my colleagues if you would unanimously support this resolution.
And I want to thank you as well for bringing us to the board and having us part of the say, because it is, I mean, they are human beings, and this should not be happening. How many units are actually in
It's three, it's over 300 units easy. And I'm probably underscoring that, and it's 3 sections. But that's only in Stanley. We didn't even talk about Jeffries.
No, I'm talking about the housing authority overseas.
Remember back in the day, they got rid of 6-bedroom and VAC, and they began to build single-family homes. And some of them had the opportunity to have home ownership, and maybe that may come back to the table again. Build some houses where folks had the opportunity to to have home ownership. Because if I'm paying $800, $900 a month for rent, somewhere I may be able to get a mortgage, maybe for $1,000. I don't know. I mean, the interest rates is high right now, but there's programs out there that will be able to help folks to do that. So again, I'm asking for unanimous consent.
Commissioner? Just a quick question to my colleague. Anywhere where it says urges the authority, do you want that to be the authority and HUD?
Yes.
Okay. Is that where you're going, Rick? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, you don't necessarily need to amend this to get a copy to the appropriate people, but if you want to amend the text, you need a motion to amend it, pursuant to however you want to do it, and then a vote on it after you've agreed you want to amend it. So the simple way to do it is if you just want to get a copy of this, is I'm sure the clerk and I can work on making sure a list of people get this in full. But if you want to amend the text, we got to go through that process. I just spoke about it.
So let's see if any other commissioners have comments.
Yes. Madam Chair. Question. Who appoints the members of
The mayor, the Senate City Council, and the governor.
the mayor and the governor? So they get an equal number of appointments, or how's that work? Do they get paid?
No, they do not get paid. They do not get paid. And of course, you know that the commissioners appoint the executive director. And if you know, housing authorities had some problems with some executive directors there.
Right, I've been
That's been a
reading.
problem as well. And I know that there's been some call out there that some of those commissioners probably need to be removed. But if it's not the commissioner's fault, why are we targeting the commissioners who are volunteering to go on the board to serve when it's really HUD, the federal government? They just got to step it up. So the answer is no, they don't get paid. And I can't tell you offhand, there's 6 members, 8 members, but the majority of them are appointed by the governing body of Atlantic City, which is the mayor. And again, I don't know how many from the governor's office.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't, this is to Commissioner Horsey, I'm not sure whether you know or not, but you know. Did HUD cut their funding to Atlantic City or reduce it, or did something happen? I mean, there's been public housing in Atlantic City for many, many, many years. Are they not sending the money to Atlantic City that needs to be sent? I know HUD probably has thousands of municipalities that has public housing, and you know the federal government is going to sit and hopefully they do and oversee Atlantic City's issue and get the funding down there. But I think if the funding is coming, is it not the funding, and the board of directors and executive director aren't doing the right thing with the funding, or did they cut the funding and the board of directors and the executive director can't get the funding they need to do the repairs and get the contractors that they need? I'm not sure what's going on.
I'm not sure if they cut the funding. Again, I will repeat it. I know that there has been some problems with the executives, the housing authority executive directors, and so they have been removed for whatever reasons. Whether it's been, again, depends on who you ask. It's been mismanagement of money. So it really, Commissioner, there's probably a lot of issues, but I think you would agree it's not time for the pointing fingers. The problem is how we get the problem solved, right? And so HUD has to do their job. They have to step it up. And again, I'm not sure if funding has been cut. I know HUD would not allow the housing authority to spend money for a long time. It's just like HUD would not allow, they had not had meetings 6, 8 months at a time. Whatever the issues may have been. Now that they had an executive director, and for some reason, he was terminated 4 or 5 months into his term. I don't know where they're at in terms of a new executive director, but HUD don't really want to take over the housing authority. They talk a good game, but they really don't want to come and take it over, because that's somebody else's problem. But it's not fair to folks who live in public housing, whether it's our senior citizen building. I mean, Jeffrey Towers is not that old. If you ask folks about Jeffrey Towers, they tell you about how poor conditions it is now. Inlet Tower is one of the older ones. Altman Terrace, another old building. 225 Virginia Avenue, another old building. And you have mixed use in terms of, there used to be, some of the buildings used to be senior buildings. Now it's disabled, and it don't necessarily have to be seniors. But again, you go into some of these projects, you cannot believe the conditions. And the tenant has a responsibility to how you keep your unit. But after how I keep it clean, if there's a problem, if something broke, the housing authority need to step it up and fix it. So the answer to your question, I don't believe that funding has been cut. At least I have not heard anybody say funding has been cut. But we did a press conference a couple times. It made national news, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. You went in apartments, like I said, the sink was falling off the wall, the tubs was cracked, the stove was so burnt up, handles, light shingles hanging in, unacceptable. But again, something that's on the tenants as well. When I served as councilman of the 3rd Ward, which Stanley Holmes was in, I never had those many problems in public housing. And I had probably the most public housing in one district that any council person had in Atlantic City. And that talked about Atlantic City Townhouse, New York Avenue Apartments, Elliott House. So I had a number of public housing in that district. And over the years, it just seems like either folks don't care or they just threw in the towel. But anytime any of my colleagues want to do a tour, you probably punch me in my mouth when I get finished walking you through it, how it's like this, right? Again, the point I'm making is nobody should have to live like that. And it's time for the finger pointing is over. What's the solution in terms of getting this problem fixed?
So we agree. So would it be beneficial for us to urge the federal government, HUD, to appoint an executive director? That way responsibility would fall directly on them. So they don't say, well, Atlantic City appoints the executive director and they're mismanaging the money, and then we're saying you know what I mean?
I don't know how the guys,
if we put it all in their wheelhouse.
I don't know how that works. I don't know if they have that, they can supersede the authority of the board like that.
Yeah, because like you said, we don't know who to put the blame on, but
I know we're really moved the last executive director.
We're really blaming the federal government.
Right.
We're not blaming the board or the executive director, but as you just said, we don't know who's not doing the right thing.
Something has to happen.
So, I mean, I think it's a great resolution, but like I said, maybe we should urge them to appoint an executive director, you know, or at least an interim executive director until the issues can be resolved and rebuilt the way they should be to bring this up to normal living conditions. Because, like you said, nobody should live in that condition. Nobody.
I have no objection.
So that would just be my suggestion too.
I agree.
You know, as long as the city would go along with that and not fight that.
Nobody's gonna fight bad good conditions.
Yeah. Commissioner Dorsey, thank you very much for bringing this to all of us. If you were serious about taking a tour, I think it would be great for any of us that can do it, because we all fight for them until we really see it, but we can put our heart into it. I have a question about the appointed commission board. Are they all Atlantic City residents?
That is correct. So I can't blame on it.
Or state, right? No, they have to be vested.
We don't want a Famika fight going on about, but no, they are appointed by Atlantic City.
Great, and they are, perfect, thank you.
And I believe one of them has to be a resident of public housing on the
One
board,
was.
correct?
I believe one was.
So,
Madam Chair,
Matter of fact, I'm sorry, Amy, you don't have to take my word, Michelle's in the back, she's done many tours. And it's not pretty.
not. It's
Been in there, I know.
It's the saddest thing I've ever covered in my entire life. Very sad.
And your heart just goes out for
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna make a motion to amend the resolution, the third and fourth paragraphs where it says urges the authority to include urges the authority and HUD from the federal government, or however you wanna say that, right? And then add a, now also be it therefore resolved that the County Board of Commissioners urges HUD to appoint an interim executive director. What was the rest of the thing you said?
An interim executive director
To address.
to address the pending issues and bring the living standards up to normal living standards.
Period. That's it.
But federal HUD, not Atlantic City HUD.
Right.
There's no legs.
Well, the Atlantic City Housing Authority, not Atlantic City Housing Authority,
Right.
but the federal government.
That's
to
what I said.
appoint the executive director.
I'll second that.
Before you do that, let me make sure I have it right, so you're all saying yes to the same thing I think you're saying yes to. Be it further resolved that the board urges HUD, federal HUD, to appoint an interim executive director? And what was the second part?
To address the outstanding issues and living conditions. Get back to,
Until the living conditions are up to the standard.
acceptable standards.
Acceptable standard.
We just pretty much leave it the way it is and just add. So just where
I
it
think
says.
that's what she
I
thinks.
did, I added.
I know,
all
but
of-
we'll leave the rest of it, the internal issues address primary duty of housing tenants, temporary long-term living,
Yeah.
for key sensitive children.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's all I'm
I'm just
saying.
adding an additional paragraph for the executive director.
No, all right,
Now further be it resolved.
I just thought we could just add it right in that last paragraph as it is.
I mean, we have to have somebody to, I don't want to say blame, but somebody has to be responsible. And it can't keep going like this. You know, you pointed me, I pointed you, you pointed me, I pointed you. Somebody has to, take the responsibility and get it done.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
this didn't happen.
That can do it, that can, get to the right people at the right time, pick up the phone, get somebody.
Right. I mean, these living conditions didn't just happen in the last year, the last 2 years. They're just, the light is shining on them.
Yep.
I mean, there was, the same situation was happening in Pleasantville, it was in Paris. You know, living conditions were horrendous. What did they do? They bulldozed it down and they put up single-family homes. And guess who got to get them? The people who were in that public housing. And you know what? It's beautiful now. There's no problems there. They maintain their property because they have their little piece of the world. You know, they're not in a cube, with people on either side of them, where, you bang on the wall and your neighbor hears what's going on in your house. You have your own house. And that's the American dream.
Yeah, it was very nice.
So we have a motion and a second to amend as discussed.
Yeah, just repeat, be it further resolved that the board urges HUD to appoint an interim executive director until, and now I lost you on that. Until the living conditions are addressed, something to that effect. I'm not trying to speak for you, I'm trying to make sure I have it
Until
right.
living conditions are restored to an acceptable standard.
Okay.
Okay, can I just say one thing? There is an executive director who's been in place just 4 months, so I don't know if everybody realizes that.
What is it, Michelle?
There is an executive director who's been there for about 4 months. He's a new guy, Tom Salen. He came in with Matt Doherty as the second in command, and he's now the
Is he a
exec.
full-timer?
Yes, yes. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
It's very quiet. It's very quiet.
yeah, he's very much, he's has to report to the board, and they're very much in control, in my opinion.
Okay,
Maybe
we have
they
a
need to give him
motion.
some more authority to get some more stuff done.
We have a motion and a second on the floor.
Yep.
So the other amendment was minor in nature, correct, Amy? Just, and HUD in the,
And the federal, but
in the third and,
third and fourth paragraphs where it says urges. Urges the authority and federal.
Word of information, I'm gonna change the title and also just add HUD in the title.
You only could amend it,
Then
certain
you have to
amendment,
vote,
yeah,
yeah.
because you're up and have to be, you'll have to vote.
Because the title only mentions the Atlantic City Housing Authority.
Yeah, I think you should amend it.
Right,
Anywhere
that
it
was the
says
original
urges.
comment, to add HUD.
I don't think that's really a substantive change. I'm gonna practice being a lawyer.
You good, Rick?
You said you was on the front, you didn't.
Good if you guys are good.
No,
Just tell me
no,
when you're down.
You good?
So the motion is and HUD in those areas we described, and the be it further resolved language we discussed. So if you have a motion, you vote to consider it as amended and then vote on it.
We have a motion to approve the amendments, right? Then you do a motion.
Yes, right.
Right. So we have a motion and a second. We'll have a roll call on that
For the amendments.
with the amendments.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes. Motion carries. That brings us back to
Motion as amended.
Motion to approve as amended.
So, second.
Okay, we have the motion of Commissioner Coursey, seconded by Commissioner Ballas. Any further comments from the board?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think there's a whole lot of missing information for this board to make that kind of decision. I do have some reservations with passing this, as we just heard from Michelle. We don't really even know who's making decisions in this situation. Is it city council? Are they calling the shots? Is it the executive director? What authority does the executive director have? We have no idea what the landscape is. So to urge the federal government to come in and appoint an executive director, an interim executive director, when they just have, as it sounds, they just received a brand new executive director. 4 months into the job, we don't know what he's done or she's done. We don't know what's being worked on. We don't know what that executive director is urging HUD to do at the moment. We're really in the dark a little bit about what's going on in that regard.
I think the resolution, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's your resolution, we're bringing it out to try to get a little bit more of those details, but to push a little further. But we do have a motion and a second on the floor at this time.
Yeah, I know, I'm speaking to the motion.
Yeah.
I'm telling you how I feel about this motion.
Right.
And so that's how I feel. That's my comment about this motion. I'm not saying whether I'm voting for or against it. I'm just saying I want to let the record hear this is how I feel. I feel like we're making a decision without all the information. Of course, I've been following this story very closely. I have no choice but to. I don't work so far from it. You know, in New York Avenue, where I work at Pennsylvania Avenue, we share a lot of students, a lot of families. So I'm very involved with what's going on down here on the ground in Atlantic City. Something does have to change. I agree with all of that sentiment. It needs to change. Someone needs to be held accountable. We need to do something. I'm for this commissioner board being in favor of doing something. But it just seems like we're missing some pieces of information on what's being done, who has the authority, who doesn't have the authority. You know, I just feel like we're missing something. We're missing pieces.
So, Madam Chair, is all right? So, I hear you, Commissioner Parker. I disagree with you. City Council is not making any decisions because they are a board that makes their own decisions. They happen to be appointed by the mayor and council votes on them. But I don't know how you would sit here and say that you don't have all the pieces. You just said in your own mind you've been following. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that there's a problem. And so if there's a problem, the question still remains whether they have an executive director there or not. There has to still be a problem from the top down. And so the issue still has to be addressed. And the point I'm making is, Commissioner, is that these people should not have to live in those conditions, whether we have all the facts or not. It all leads to, it looks like hell.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody needs to live like that. And then at the end of the day, something needs to be done. And there's no need sitting here today, whether we worry about city council making the decision or the executive director, it's still a responsibility of the federal government. And whether the housing authority locally makes the decision, People should not live in those damn conditions.
Agreed.
You wouldn't live in them, I wouldn't live in them, none of us would live in them. And as elected officials, we still need to stand up for those who think they have no voice and that nobody's listening, because this is not new. This issue has been going on and on and on. And as a governing body, we're basically saying, the feds, you need to get off your ass and do more.
I don't disagree with any of that.
So to say you're sitting here and we don't have all the pieces, I totally disagree with you. How much more parts to the puzzle do you need? The conditions are horrible. It doesn't get any clearer than that. People shouldn't have to live like that. And you're right. Whether you at Pennsylvania Avenue School, New York Avenue School, you see the conditions. From the outside, forget the inside, look at the outside. It's all about leadership. And the feds need to get off their behinds and do the right thing.
Commissioner Corsi, I don't take issue with any of the comments that you just made, and you say you disagree with me, but I didn't hear any disagreement.
You say we don't have enough parts of the puzzle. That's more than enough.
I still believe that. So my comment that I was making is not whether we should do something or whether those living conditions are fair for people. I'm not speaking about any of that part of it, Commissioner Corsi. None of that am I speaking of. What I am talking about is, sometimes we make decisions, and we're urging, what we just changed in this resolution is urging the federal government to appoint an interim executive director. That's something different. That takes this resolution to somewhere different. Because now, I have no idea what job, I have no idea, the young man or young woman who just received the job 4 months ago, I have no idea what they're working on. None of us do. We have no idea. Maybe that person's doing everything that we're saying. Maybe that person is proactive and is on it and is taking care of things. It just hasn't come to fruition yet. None of us have a clue. None of us. So we're urging this person to pretty much be replaced. That's our urge. To replace the executive director that's in place right now that's had the job for 4 months. And put an interim executive director in that job when we have no knowledge of what that person is
All right,
doing at
can
all.
we take the last paragraph out then so that we can?
Listen, we can vote on it. I don't have a problem. Listen, let's just vote on it. I said what I had to say for the record. The record is clear. I said what I said. I believe what I believe and what I just stated. It has nothing to do with helping the people. It has nothing to do with I think we all agree the living conditions are terrible and something has to be done. All right? That's what we agree. I'm just saying by urging the federal government to put an interim executive director in, I don't.
But Commissioner, with all due respect,
I don't know.
Let the feds make that decision. We're making a recommendation. Let them make that decision. We're making a recommendation to them to do something.
I'm ready.
Right? Let them make the decision whether they put somebody down here or not. But we're
ready.
putting the ownership on them.
I'm ready, Commissioner Corsi. I'm ready, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, yeah, and I think we should leave that in there, just for the mere fact, if we're blaming them, they have to take responsibility. And they could say, you know what, we've looked into this new person, they're doing a phenomenal job, that's our guy. And he'll do, or she'll do, as, follow our standard, our marching orders. But you can't blame them if you don't give them, if they don't have the authority, you can't blame them.
And then we have to get a point person. That person that's in now can call somebody directly, know who he's calling, and know that he's going to get answers and the right answers. So that's pretty much what we're asking for.
Exactly.
To come back and say,
And the other thing, we're all assuming that they're actually going to listen to us. Listen, any resolution we've ever done to the state, to the federal government, or anybody else, yet the first response I ever get back will be the first one I ever got back.
The interesting part, Madam Chair, before you call to that point, if you go back to the press article a week or two ago, they just had to move people out of the housing authority and put them in apartments.
Yes.
They went kicking and screaming. Some of them are back now, but the point is, there's still a lot of work needs to be done. Put the ownership on the feds.
Exactly.
Okay.
Either crap or get off the pot, one or the other.
100%.
Okay. Anything from the public? No.
We talked him out of it.
Okay. We'll have a roll call.
Alice.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Coursey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Commissioner Parker, Madam Chair, if I may, I should come over there and smack you 2 ways of China. You spend 15 minutes and you still hold it again. I'll do that, I'm sorry.
I told you it wasn't going to impact my vote. I wanted the record to reflect.
Point about that.
Okay, we have received copies of written communication and petitions. Any commissioner have any comments or anything you'd like to share? Okay, seeing here none, any reports of special committees of the board? Hearing none.
I do want to make, Madam Chair, a little bit off my, wait a second, I had it up here. I have to get back in.
Also, on the computer somewhere.
That's Parker. He thought he was in class today.
There we go. So we have, to the point that Commissioner Ballas made earlier about the cemetery, which is called the Bowling Cemetery. The state of New Jersey has what is called the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail. And the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail, we're coming up and we're running out of time, so I think that this cemetery may be a good choice, as I told Commissioner Ballas, for putting this application in for the Black Heritage Trail for the state of New Jersey. It's something that's new. There's a Women's Heritage Trail already that seems to be pretty successful, but the deadline is fast approaching, so I wanted to put this out here for everyone to know that the deadline for submission is this Friday, March 8th. Now, in subcommittee, I did speak to Culture and Heritage with the director, Kim, about looking into some areas, some locations here in our area where we can, possibly get ready to submit through committee. I haven't received a whole lot back yet of this. I will talk to Kim to see if we can put this cemetery in. There's also a property, Kaleem Shabazz, Councilman Kaleem Shabazz sent me, one of the churches over in Atlantic City. I'm trying to think which one it was, Commissioner. Of course, you think offhand, which he sent me a text message of one of the trails he wanted us to put in, one of the churches in Atlantic City for the Black Heritage Trail. I can't think offhand which one it was. I think it was St. James. It was St. James. So St. James Church, he did send me that, back. So we're looking to possibly put those 2 properties in the Black Heritage Trail. Maybe the McKee City betterment, since we just, redid a park and some things, and redid a building in Egg Harbor Township, the McKee City betterment. So maybe those are 3 areas. But if anyone out there in the public knows of any places in Atlantic County that we need to consider for the Black Heritage Trail, please go online. Let's see, it says the contact person is the project manager by the name of Greg Odie, and his email address is gregory.odey@sos.nj.gov, or you can call 609-943-3304 for any additional assistance in submitting an application.
And maybe our administration may have some input too, or assistance with some of those.
Absolutely. So if anybody has any information.
Do we have any other committee reports?
I just wanted to make one statement. Joan Brennan, I live on Dolphin Avenue. This graveyard behind us where there's...
We're not ready for public comments.
I'm sorry, I thought he was asking if anybody had it. I just wanted to make a comment about the
Okay.
graveyard.
About what he was talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's specifically about the graveyard. There's about 4,000 people buried back here on Dolphin Avenue, and at least, I'm assuming about a third of them are black folks that came up from down south. I have some records of those people, but the graveyard is right here behind us on Dolphin Avenue, the first Atlantic County burial ground. So we'd love to get that included as well, if we could do that. So I will speak to you afterwards. Thank you so much.
No,
Sorry,
thank you.
sorry
No,
for
no,
interrupting.
I misunderstood. No, not at all. Any other special committee reports?
Just, this is kind of, I guess, written word. I just want to share my continued frustration with the New Jersey DOT, my favorite entity. Aside from
Thank you for your
the,
passion on that, because somebody's got to
aside
do
from
it.
the engine, from the new traffic lights, 3 out of 4 of them being installed and sitting not in operation at Cologne and 322, my favorite spot. September 21st, I made a request, at the request of the pastor at St. Vincent de Paul, to reduce the speed limit on Route 40 in front of St. Vincent de Paul Parish and Holy Cross Cemetery. And I received a response shortly after that said, oh yeah, we actually started doing a study already. We'll have a response for you in approximately 3 months. So the end of December, I followed up, which was the end of 3 months, and I said, hey, how's that study? And they said, oh, we'll get back to you soon. Typical NJ DOT response. That was January 23rd was that response. February 20th, I followed up. Hey, it's been 4 weeks since you said it would be soon. Results would be soon. No response to that. February 27th, it's been 5 weeks. Finally got a response today saying that they are still under review. And they'll give me a call when they have results. So
We're gonna wait for that.
every week, they will continue to get an email from me because this is beyond frustrating and ridiculous. And I just want the public to know this is my favorite entity in the state of New Jersey for us to deal with when we try to get things accomplished for our constituents. I'm so frustrated.
Thank you for
3 years,
persevering. Now, I
3
know-
years for a parking sign in Hamilton Township. That was when my fun started with them. But anyway, okay, I just had to get that off my chest.
You're gonna get it.
More
Really.
fatalities for total answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Madam Chair, I'd like to give a committee report. March is National Women's History Month. I'd like to thank all the women on the commission, administration, our residents, and our favorite reporter back in the corner. Thank you for all that you do for our county. You being here and giving support as residents means just as much to us to help us do our job, and to our administrative females here, we couldn't do it without you either. So tomorrow, as Tara reminded me, is Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver is being honored. There's a groundbreaking at City Hall in Atlantic City at 11 a.m. So if anybody can make that, we can support her, and it is National Women's History Month. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Any other reports of the commission? Any unfinished business? Seeing none, any new business?
Madam Chair, through you to Jerry, possibly to Doug if he's on, the intersection of Ocean Heights and Egg Harbor Ocean Heights and Zion Road in Egg Harbor Township. Just a question: are we purposely changing the pattern of the lights and how the lights are changing on that intersection based on traffic patterns? But the reason I'm asking, the last few weeks, coming home from work going west at that intersection, what I've noticed is there's the traffic coming west. The traffic coming west gets to come 3 light changes before the traffic going east gets an opportunity to go. And the last few times that I've been there, there's been some pretty irate drivers and confused drivers at that intersection, really not knowing what to do. At one point I saw, someone actually just ran it because they thought the signal was broken. And so I thought something was wrong with the signal as well. And, you know, I made a few phone calls, and then it didn't happen again, and then it just happened again this past week. It happened again. So I'm thinking, I don't know whether we looked at the traffic pattern and said, this is the way that we need to do it, or if something's malfunctioning.
So you're saying Ocean Heights and Zion?
Ocean
or
Heights and Zion.
Giuliano's, right, okay.
Right at that corner.
So Doug is on. I mean, Doug, let me say this. No one's told me we've changed that light. And that particular intersection is extremely heavy traffic in all directions.
Right.
So, Doug, are you there?
Hello.
Doug?
Did you?
I'm having trouble hearing you, Jerry.
Here is your mic.
Oh. So Doug.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any issues with the signal, but we will look into it. It doesn't sound like, from what you're describing, that it's working properly.
Thanks, Doug. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other new business?
Madam
Commissioner
Chair,
Grizzly.
thank you. Just like to mention that I've been honored to be appointed to the National Aerospace Research and Technology Park as the government designated that board by our county executive. So I'm looking forward to working with all the folks there that have done so much for the county. Thank you.
All right, congrats. Thank you. Those 3 courses coming out, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Another notch in your transportation belt. You're gonna go to the air now.
Just like the Jetsons.
Any other new business? Okay, hearing none, we're going into public comments. Anyone attending in person that would like to speak now in public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the mic, state your name and the town you reside. If you're attending virtually and would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. I will call upon your name and a request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. So if anybody from the public,
Hi.
hello.
Good evening. My name is Vernon Cruz. I reside in Egg Harbor Township. I have a few concerns regarding a replacement of a few bridges in the area that I live. I believe the company responsible that was awarded the contract is South State Industries. I'm looking for some direction and some help in regards to some of the concerns I've had with Mr. DeMayo in regards to the traffic plan that was instituted is not currently working. This project has been awarded to this contract. I'm sure they were awarded a fair amount of money to complete it. It's a bit to be desired. The general product looks great as you drive by it, but there's construction debris left there off to the side of the road, sheets of plywood. The old bridges in some of the areas were not removed completely. Tractor trailers have caused damage to residents' properties by cutting the corner and running across their front yard and causing damage to their sprinkler system and in their grass and all. So what I'm looking for tonight is just a direction that I can go to meet either Mr. DeMayo or Mr. Bookings, or even I forget her last name, but her first name is Diane. I want somebody to go out there and actually meet with me and some of the area residents to share our concerns. I know they hear our concerns. It doesn't mean anything, okay? The frustration in the area is growing. It's only going to be amplified by the summer season as that road is used pretty considerable. Mr. Parker, that may be some of the issue you're experiencing there on Ocean Heights and Zion Road as the Atlantic Christian School comes and empties into that same intersection around that same time. I'm assuming you're getting done work out of the city. And all of that traffic, the traffic plan, it's just not working. A lot of people are cutting down the residential street there that just wasn't designed to handle that amount or volume of traffic. So some of the signage that's there is just not, it's not working. It's not working.
Jerry, do you have any comments, or do you want it to go to Doug? I just know that I know the mayor out there has spoken with somebody about some additional signage, so I'm not sure.
I'll give him my cord up.
Are you going to meet me out there?
Yeah, I'll meet you out there.
Bring your boots.
So again, we met we met with the municipality, I think I asked Renee and Doug, they met with the chief of police, and we've had long conversations about the detours. The biggest problem with detours, quite truthfully, is the fact that we don't have signage that drives people to municipal roads. The people who know the area are gonna go and use municipal roads because it bypasses, you know, the roads we put them on, which probably are have signals and whatever else. We were asked to put in Jersey barriers on streets. We're not allowed to do that. I mean, and I had Doug address that, but we're not allowed to do. We can't block streets just for the local traffic. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'll have to go out there with the gentleman, and I'll do that to go look at some of the materials left. I mean, we've had those issues before, and the contractors sometimes aren't really paying attention.
Yeah.
If we highlight it for them, I think they'll take care of that. The traffic pattern, again, I'll go look. I'll bring Doug. I'll bring, you know, our we have investigators or inspectors. I'll bring the inspectors with us. We'll look at all that. But I'll look at that. I'm not sure how much we can do, but
Thank
I'll
you
reach
for doing
out
that,
there, okay?
Jerry. Thank you.
Who is responsible for the quality control of the completion of the work here, Jerry? You know, I mean, there's many projects we see
Right.
that are completed, the contractors are awarded generously.
Right.
What enforcing agency does the county have to ensure that that work's done to a quality of which the taxpayers should
We have an
deserve, obviously,
inspector.
the best?
There's an inspector on that job. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I know South State is the contractor. Doug, who's the inspector on Lake Street?
The inspector is Frenchman and Perillo Associates.
This is a
So
subcontractor.
they, by the way, they do these inspections, but they also design bridges as well. I mean, so they're a fairly large agency.
Will we have them out there when we meet, Jerry?
I'll ask Doug to ask somebody to come out with a shirt.
Okay, all right. One last concern, Jared or Doug, this may be to you guys as well. I know Mr. Formica was part of a wetlands mitigation project in that same area.
Right.
I believe the title was Wetlands Mitigation of Lakes Creek, I think it was.
It was, yeah, correct.
And this storage area for the equipment for South State is right on that buffer, and it's getting torn up. If you're interested, after the meeting, I have plenty of pictures to support what I've just said.
Okay.
It's discouraging as you see the area build up and other things happen, good things happen, and then it's taken away by somebody who is awarded a contract and does a good.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing it to their attention, Tim. Thank you, Jerry.
Madam Chair, just so, from a process perspective for the gentleman as well, you asked about quality control, right? So we have the inspections, and then typically we have some kind of a guarantee, a performance guarantee included in those contracts as well that we will not pay depending on the inspections, or we will pay depending on the inspection. So just a point of information in terms of process that it's not like they get all the money up front and that's it, right? Like we have some of those kind of milestones there.
From the bit I understand too, and I know my 3 minutes is up, and you gave me the old shepherd's hook if you'd
It's
like.
my fault.
From my, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, the contractor that was awarded was supposed to complete the work on Bevis Mill, the 2 culvert dams or bridges or however they refer to it, before they were to start the Lakes Creek project on 559, which was a larger project. And I believe it was scheduled to be a year for the larger project. It would be my personal opinion that the Bevis Mill project was not fully completed before South State moved to the next larger project on Mays Landing Road. I'm not sure if it was an event, in the event that they were trying to save money, because from what I understand, they were running behind on their timeline. And did they cut corners or decide not to pick the construction debris up out of the street or regrade the property the way that it's supposed to be graded before they moved to the next one? And hey, we'll get you in the spring, and then it'll turn into, hey, we'll get you in the fall, and then we know how that goes.
Well, let me say this, Mr. Cruz. So from my perspective, and I'll turn it to Doug, but from my perspective, I was called to say, you know, why is this project taking so long? And there were delays on Bevis Mill. And so the delays on Bevis Mill delayed the starting of Lakes Creek. So that's my understanding. They actually finished Bevis Mill delay the start of, like, straight out, so that's my understanding of it. I'll turn it to Doug. Doug, why don't you go through the delays on Bevis Mill and how they were handled?
Yeah, they did have some minor delays on Bevis Mill due to high water in the soil, so the ground was what they call pumping, which was not suitable for paving, so they actually had to remove, I believe, a foot or so of the soil and replace it with better soil so that they could pave it. I think there was some weather issues. One of the big things that we needed to do was get the contractor on Mays Landing Summers Point Road and get a cofferdam in place at that bridge before March 1st, which was the start of the in-water work restrictions. So, yes, they probably hastily moved to the, Mays Landing Summers Point Road, but they did realize they needed to come back in the spring, finish the landscaping items, and we have been out there with NJDOT to do a punch list for the Bevis Mill Road project, for a portion of the project, and we are providing that to the contractor, and we will, be making sure that they come back and take care of everything that's on our punch list. And, if there's things that we didn't see and, resident lets us know, we will certainly take a look at it and make sure it gets on the punch list as well.
That sounds great, Doug. I'd love to actually sit down or at least meet you and Jerry out there. I encourage you to bring some knee-high boots. We'll go out on low tide and I'll point out my concerns there as well. The discussion that you and I had on the phone some time ago in reference to the protection of the Egg Harbor estuary area on the 559 project, that same protection did not apply to the Bevis Mill culverts. Is that area protected under the same protection as the 559 is my question.
I'm not sure I totally understand your question on that one. What do you mean by, I know like wetlands where, we can only do so much in the wetlands. We had a limit of disturbance which was defined by the plan, so the contractor couldn't go beyond those areas. I know you actually mentioned some of the damage along the wetlands mitigation bank. Actually, a lot of that was from the contractor from Verizon, because they had to do directional drill to move the
utilities
lines out of our way. So we will have to look into, going after that contractor, and obviously our contractor will have to restore anything that they damage before the end of the project.
Okay, I appreciate it, Doug. I look forward to hearing from you and Jerry here to schedule a meeting. And if you're interested, I'd love to at least have one or two other residents there and maybe have some concerns that weren't able to be here tonight, to be there present when we have our meeting.
I don't know if any of the EHT commissioners will join, but if you could keep us posted for any of us that would be able to join for whatever it gets scheduled.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, while we're still on this, I know myself, I've received quite a few phone calls and emails, which I think everyone, or at least EHT representatives, have received reference to the guardrail placements around them bridges. I went out there and actually looked at it a couple times. You have guardrails on the approach, but on the descent of the bridge, there's no guardrail. And that road is far from straight. And somebody loses control, that just because they're not driving on that side of the road, their car can go off that side of the road and it's wide open right into the middle of that creek.
Commissioner, I couldn't agree anymore. You're going down.
I think that should be addressed, and I don't know I think that was passed on to Doug and Jerry. I don't know if that's being addressed or.
I haven't heard that, so I haven't heard that, so, but we'll be out there. I'll look at me. I mean, if Doug has heard it, I'm assuming Doug will take care of it.
Well, I assume the emails went to you guys also, but it does not look safe at all.
Okay.
Mr. Commissioner, from my discussion with Diane and Mr. DeMayo. Apparently there was a traffic study done, and the traffic study that was done did not require the guardrail to go in on those sides as you're passing by the bridge. I expressed my concerns to Mr. DeMayo about it. I believe Diane was on the phone when we talked about it. The one that had specifically pointed out to me, or the one that I was most concerned as you descend down the hill, the bridge is actually on a turn. So you could descend down a hill, and the bridge, you make a gradual right-hand turn. On the left-hand side, before you get to the bridge itself, it is not a large area of water, but it's enough that if you go off into it in the middle of the night, like it snowed the other day, and you're not paying attention, the tail lights, you'd just be swallowed up by the swamp that's there, and people drive by you for days and not even know. So
No,
that's
I agree.
definitely a concern.
I'm sure the traffic study said because it's supposed to be a low-speed roadway, doesn't mean that people are going to drive slow on that roadway. You know, in my career, I investigated many fatals and many crashes where vehicles have slid off a roadway, whether it's wet or snow or even dry, you know, and it just seems like an accident waiting to happen. You know, if somebody goes into that water, I haven't walked in that water, but it looks deep to me.
It is, the actual depth of the water, to be perfectly honest with you, Commissioner, is not that deep. However, the sediment that is there will swallow us all up.
Right.
Yeah, we will just disappear and turn into fossils.
Exactly.
So-
I've been back in Sleepy Hollow, and
Yeah.
you got the same type of situation. You walk out there and you sink into the mud 3 feet.
You're gone forever.
Yeah. Well, not
You're
forever.
you're the swamp now.
You're gone for a little while.
But I mean, the guardrail, I saw that there was a resolution passed or approved to have the guardrails repaired throughout the county. Steelmanville and Ocean Heights Avenue is always a notorious one for a motor vehicle accident. There was 2 more recently taken out the guardrail. The second one, the car accident that happened before the company come out to repair the guardrail, went over the guardrail and did some significant damage to the property that was there.
Yep.
So,
Go by it every day.
anything else? Good questions, Dave? All right, thank you.
Does anybody else have anything from the public?
Good afternoon, Joan Brennan. I live in Northfield, actually, on Alfred Avenue. I've been here a few times to talk about the graveyard and the buildings, the chomping at the bit to build on this graveyard and the property behind us. It's mainly, you know, knocking down off all the trees and putting this 10,000 square foot warehouse, turning our somewhat quiet street into an industrial park behind us. A lot of people are complaining. I'm surprised there aren't people here. I know I sent emails to complain, and it is, I understand that they need storage. You need storage for this old furniture. Originally, it was supposed to be for voting machines, and now it's for old furniture that they're moving out of storage bins to put into this building and a training center. But why does it have to be on this street? That's my concern. We already have enough traffic here. The traffic is, some days it's so out of control, it's just unreal. It's a single lane street back here, and people are driving 45 and 50 miles an hour on a 25. And my grandkids came to be out front because the traffic is so bad. And it's gotten considerably worse since they put the parking lot behind us. And I'm just asking, why can't they move it to a place? We have plenty of property, empty properties. You've cleared so much space around the county. Why does it have to be on this street? My plan is to come back to the next meeting with a petition to stop the building from being built on this property. I've already got some people signed. I'm going to continue to get people to sign it because we just don't need it back here. My thought processes, and I've talked to Mr. Del Rosa before, that, you know, you're housing all this old furniture that nobody wants in storage facilities, and why aren't we auctioning it off and saving the taxpayers money? They're going to spend, what, $20 million to build a 10,000 square foot warehouse in a residential neighborhood that nobody wants on the street. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to speak up. It does not need to be here. There is absolutely no reason for it. And my concern is that you're going to continue to try to build on this graveyard behind me as well. And we all know that there's almost close to 4,000 bodies. He said it on record. This is not fair to the citizens and the people that were buried here, okay? This building itself was housed thousands of people. And as they died, they were buried behind us. So I'm asking you to please stop attempting to build on this property. This property, they scanned it. I spoke to the scanners. They said there are bodies buried behind Meadowview. So obviously, if there's bodies behind Meadowview, he said that they're more than likely were buried along where Meadowview is. So we probably knocked down or dug bodies up and built Meadowview on top of it because it was before the scanning was even being done. They built the parking lot. That was never scanned before they built the parking lot. We know there's close to 4,000 people back here, and why you have to build on this property. I spoke to a few people who said they're still considering, the Archdiocese is still considering trying to get something built back here for senior living. This needs to stop. We have got to stop trying to build on this property. There are, like I said, black people that came up from the South, being basically slaves that came up from the South, that lived here, that worked here in these buildings, that died. They're buried back here. How are we going to continue to do this to people? Families that have grandparents, third and fourth great grandparents that are buried back here. We don't know where they're at. Half of them didn't have caskets. They were wrapped in sheets and buried in the back here. I mean, honestly, it's like they were burying people in the backyards of these homes all around Atlantic County until they designated this property behind us as Atlantic County's first cemetery. And we keep pushing to build on it. It is outrageous. How do you sleep at night thinking about doing this? This is just unfair. You know, I have people calling me and emailing me saying, what is happening? Why are they going to keep doing this, keep talking about this? Shame on all of you. If it was your grandmother that was buried there, you would be having a fit. It is not fair to the community to keep building on this property back here where we don't know. No, I asked them to scan the property where they just dug up down there, and they refused when they went to the city council meeting. So guess what? Now I'm really hot because you went and knocked down all those trees. Some were close to 200 years old, cleared the property, but it was never scanned. We don't know where people are buried back there, but we know, and he said it on a record, close to 4,000 people because some of the records were destroyed. Guess what? I'm going to stop it. I'm just warning you now. I'm not saying that to be scary. We need to stop trying to build on this property. It is not fair to the citizens who live on this street and throughout the city of Northfield. We do not want a 10,000 square foot warehouse on our street. We don't want it. And I'm going to go out and get over 1,000 signatures, every signature I can, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to hand them over to you so we can stop this. It is not fair. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
And I know you're crashing.
I am very upset because I keep hearing this from people that the Archdiocese is still attempting to build on this property. Where do we get off? Where are we going with this? The Archdiocese, who's in whose back pocket here? No, we know what it is. It's not fair. It's got to stop.
Is there anybody else from the public?
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public? Seeing none, anybody online? Okay, that takes us into the border. I have a couple comments. We had a busy weekend in Atlantic City. The annual boat show, the Captain's Table. Commissioner Valls and I were both there. It's a very big fundraiser for the community food bank, and it's very well attended. Oh, yes.
She forgot she
yes,
talked to
I
me.
did. I did. And Commissioner Corsi was there as well, with his holy wife. My congratulations to young athletes who compete competed in the state wrestling championships on the boardwalk. We had a very busy town. And especially our Buda regional Shay Arons. He won the school's first state wrestling championship in school history. Is it she? S-H-E-A? Is that how you pronounce it?
Well, no, Shay, but I think it was
Shay
the first female, right? It was the first female state champion.
And,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to congratulate my Mustangs for going, both girls and boys teams are off to the state finals. And for anybody out there that is going to be celebrating Ramadan, may your fast be blessed. Anything else we can do?
In the beginning of the meeting, I forgot to ask to be a moment of silence for Fire Chief Scott Evans, who lost his brother last week. So we want to keep him in my prayers.
Thank you. Anything else for the good of the order? Seeing here none, I'll entertain.
So moved.
Usually somebody jumping in there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.